We stand here once again, united against the Albanese Labor government. We stand here united against the Labor government's mass immigration policy that is causing so much pain and heartache in Australia and rising the costs of housing throughout our country because the housing supply can't keep up with the absolutely escalated demand. It's time for the Australian people to speak up and speak loudly that we did not vote for mass immigration in this country. We did not vote for an Australian government that refuses to put Australians first and instead puts Australians last. So today you're going to hear from a few speakers. They're going to tell you all about what they're doing in their own capacities and in their own groups to push back against the tyranny of the Albanese Labor government. We're also standing here united today against government corruption in all of its forms. The corrupt Victorian government has put our people of Victoria into so much debt, with so much waste, with so much misspending, with so many dodgy deals, with so many kickbacks, that the Victorian people have got tired of it. They've stopped even complaining about it, but it's time to start complaining again. The Victorian people deserve better than the Jacinta Allen Labor government in this state. And the Australian people deserve better than Anthony Albanese. It's time to get rid of the Albanese Labor government. Albo must go!
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 We also stand here today in unrelenting support of the right for all Australians to freedom of speech. And we are staring down the barrel of a new bill that is coming this December called the Under 16 Social Media Ban. Who's heard of that one? This legislation is an absolute disgrace for so many reasons. Young Australians deserve a voice. They should not be banned from social media. Outright, the bill doesn't do what it claims to do. It's supposed to protect children, but instead of protecting children, it turns the government into the parents. It is not the role of the state to be a parent. It is the role of the state to enforce safety, build the roads, and do so many other things. But it is not the role of the state to tell 16-year-olds what they should and shouldn't be doing on the internet. Exactly. And on the other half of this legislation, it's very clear that it's going to be enforced with a mandatory digital ID.
Death to digital ID.
We stand united here against mandatory digital ID because I don't really see how they're going to enforce this legislation if they don't do that. Exactly right. Australians should be able to post on social media with freedom of speech. They shouldn't have their speech restricted by a digital ID requirement or have to upload their ID in order to post on social media. But we all know it's not going to really be enforced very properly because people will just use VPNs. So the legislation's not going to achieve what it sets out to achieve, and it's going to infringe on the right of all Australians to engage in social media. Exactly right. We're here today to take a stand for Australian culture and values. It's time for us to all be proud of being Australians again. If you brought an Australian flag, raise it up nice and high. Yeah. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! 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 Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Thank everybody for bringing your beautiful blue Australian flags here today. And some red ensigns as well, very good. But we're here to say that we are proud Australians. We will take a stand for our culture, our values, and we will not let globalist agendas, whether it's from the UN or the World Economic Forum, take away our Australian sovereignty, our Australian national identity, and our Australian independence.
No to digital ID.
It's time for Australia to step away from the globalist organisations of the UN, the World Health Organization, and the World Economic Forum. It's time for Australians to take back our independence. For our government to represent the people once again and not the lobbyist class. So once again, thank you everyone for coming. Thank you for joining the Save Australia rally. We'll pass along to our next speaker. But before that, thank you all for coming. Give yourselves a round of applause. And we'll do one more. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! 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 Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Thank you, everybody. And now we'll pass over to Greg Cheeseman.
Thank you, Harrison. Ladies and gentlemen, I come with some disturbing news. A lot of you probably already know this, those of you who are here, but for those who are watching online, maybe for your lefty friends if you have them, those who are in the public service, and there's a few of them in the blue over there and up the back behind me. The breaking news is this: your government doesn't like you. The federal government does not like you. If they did, they would listen to you, the people who pay their wages. They would enact the will of the people and not a globalist agenda. They are clearly not working for you because they don't like you. It's also important to know that our state government doesn't like you either. If they did, they would listen again to the will of the people. But what have they done just recently? The outcome of the Voice to Parliament referendum that we had in 2023, where 63% of Australians said, no, we do not want to be divided by race. We want every single Australian to be treated equally. The Victorian government said, no, we want you divided by race. We want a treaty so that 99% of Victorians get locked out. That's not listening to the people, is it? Further proof they don't like you is all the taxes they've brought in. Anybody who thinks they can get ahead in life, build a little bit of wealth, don't worry, it's going to be taken off you in taxes. If you have a holiday house, guess what happens? You're going to get hit with land tax, and that land tax is crippling to the point where you'll have to sell it. But here's the kicker. On the Mornington Peninsula, property values have dropped by up to 30%. So you thought you had a good investment, but it's now dropped by 30% thanks to the actions of the state government. They don't like you. It's obvious. Digital ID, it's a means of control, and it will be brought in this December with the age verification bill of online services. You will have to prove you're not 16. Now, you would think I wouldn't have a problem. It's pretty obvious I'm not 16. But I will still have to prove that I'm over 16. Right? Despite the obvious. I know, we're in the same boat here, you and me. Okay. So if the government liked you and they were listening to what you were saying, they wouldn't be doing all of these things, would they? They would be working to make your life better. Let's have a show of hands. Who here believes their life is better now than before Anthony Albanese became the PM? Put your hands up. Whose life is better? Your life's better, is it? There we go. You can put your fingers up, that's fine. That's right. Who here thinks their life is better now than before Labor came to office in 2014? Whose life's better now? No, they've actively made your life worse. I say it slowly to drive it home. Labor have made your life worse. They don't like you. Get it in your head. Boys in blue over there, your bosses don't like you. They just don't. We think you're doing a great job over there, so big wave out. There we go, give us a wave, boys. There we go, thumbs up, nice work. See, they're friendly when they're told not to be nasty, aren't they? That's fantastic. All right. There's an important message that we need to send back to the government. Those who aren't here today, the silent majority, stop being so silent. Get off the couch. Get involved in saving your state and your country and your children's future. Find a political party that reflects your values. I hope it's One Nation. I had a look at their values. They align with mine, and that's why I joined them. And that's why I represent them along with every other Victorian here today. Get involved. Otherwise, you are just enabling what has been going on for the last 11 years in this state. Get involved. You don't have to be a candidate, but you can support. There's a role for everybody in this. So stop being so damn silent. And then we need to send a very loud message back to Jacinta Allen and her clown show of a government. We need to tell them that while they don't like us, we don't like them. Alrighty, I want to hear from you guys. Who wants the government to get out of their lives? Who wants to be free to live their life the way they choose? And in November 2026, who wants to sack Jacinta Allen?
Amen.
I'm Greg Cheeseman. I'm here on behalf of One Nation, and I'm standing up for each and every Victorian. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you, Greg. Alrighty, up next we'll go to Sahil. Sahil, I will get you on to speak next.
Hi all, my name is Sahil. I'm a very energized guy in this sort of space. Really good to see everyone here. Everyone out there, they'll be here in a year or two when they start feeling the crunch. But I feel as everyone starts feeling the crunch, this grows more and more. I read a funny meme the other day. If you're an Australian against mass immigration, you're a hypocrite. If you're an Australian against mass immigration, you're a racist. If you're an Indian against mass immigration, you're a hypocrite. I used to be very involved with the Sikh temple community back in WA, and there are so many migrants now who have come to that temple that us who came here about 30, 40 years ago, we've been driven out of our own Sikh temple. So, it's a really insidious thing how this goes. It's really sad, actually. And I would make another point, we're seeing a lot of hope in the UK and the US. I wouldn't bet on that to come here. I think Australia, it seems like the only country where this issue, where in fact I think it's actually worse, the mass immigration issue than Canada for sure, in terms of a per capita, and probably the US as well. They're not coming to save us, guys. We're in a real pickle. And we need everyone on the ground. We really need to start building a movement. We should be here every day, and we should also be at the State Library every day and at Flinders every day. It's only by generating media that we're going to win this thing, and to do that, we've really got to accelerate it. That's sort of a left-wing tactic, and probably something we want to use against them now. that if we just let this kind of go and we just sort of stand here and say our thing once in a while, we're going into that good night. So yeah, there needs to be a lot more agitation, I would say. Plato said an interesting thing. He said this 2,000 years ago, I believe it was Plato. If you want to destroy a country, bring in people from different religions and cultures into a new set of borders and have them fight amongst themselves. That's a tried and tested method for all of history, and it doesn't take a lot to see it happening right now. Although it's always under these euphemisms, liberal democracy and all of this. It's pretty obvious what's happening. I used to live just over there in one of those apartments across State Library, and every night I'd go out and play a little game. How many white people can I see? How many Australians can I see? And I'd do a count around 8 p.m., 9 p.m. I'm going to Woolies most nights, and it was about 3 out of 50, and 2 of them looked like South American backpackers half the time. There are no Australians left in this city, actually, of Melbourne. Maybe those Indigenous people who want to take it can take it, and we make a grand bargain that they take the city and we get the rest of the country. I don't know. That's just an idea too. The big thing that I find very interesting is that it's actually a left-wing insight that if you bring a bunch of immigrants into a country, it'll deflate the wages, it'll increase the competition for reduced supply, and no one will get houses, and the cost of living will rise.
What about government grants to open up new businesses for Aussies?
It's a good idea. It's a good idea. So yeah, I also find that very peculiar, and it shows you the level of indoctrination and brainwashing that really has gone on in the younger generation in this country, that they're out there just down the street. What do they call themselves? No racist or something like that. That it's their insights actually we're drawing on now as conservatives, that this is going to destroy the economy and destroy all our lives. Yeah, so I think that's another sort of insight I wanted to share. Things do seem like they're kind of getting to a point. I mean, it seems like we have like 2 months of intensity and a month off, and 2 months of intensity, but did anyone see those Shia Muslims outside St. Pat's a few months ago? I mean, what was that? Could Christians do that outside a mosque? No, I don't think so. There's a double standard there. And I mean, why would you do that? Is it intimidation? Is it a declaration? It's all of those. Not a war crime yet, but it could be. It'd be a hate crime if we did it, that's for sure. That's for sure. Look, there's a lot of violence out there. I used to have these visions in another time of my life. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. When you bring in people from totally different sort of backgrounds and ideology, religious ideology, cultural ideology, and when they are diametrically opposed to one another, violence will break out. There is no stopping it. It's coming. The rivers of blood will be in Melbourne, they'll be in Sydney, they'll be in Amsterdam, London, Paris. They'll be across the world if we don't get this, if we don't nip it in the bud.
I heard about that message online that went around to all the people of Australia, I'm talking about underground people. All these messages went out from the syndicate. They're going to take over this whole country. It's one syndicate.
I don't think they need one syndicate, mate. It's happening right now. Let's go. Sure. No, it's all real, and it's existential, not just to the country, to humanity. I mean, once the intensity of this, give it a year or two, really balls up across the world, it's just going to take a couple of YouTube viral videos of real race violence to really unlock that. What is it? That helter-skelter. That's all it's going to take, actually. Is it by design? I don't know. What would happen if it happened in Australia? Well, one side would either win definitively, or all the guys in blue, and in fact the guys in green, the military, we put on the street, and then we'll be down in China style, Soviet style, that's almost the opportunity they want. So we've got to be very careful how we navigate this whole thing going forward, because if we let it get to a point of such extremity, then the government will clamp down on us, and we're even worse than when we started. Yeah. And also on the digital Bill of Rights thing, I mean, sorry, that was my idea, sorry, I went right with that. On the digital ID thing, we need a digital Bill of Rights, talk to me about it later. I just saw Meta is actually going to start reading WhatsApp chats a couple of days after our ID thing comes into effect. And I don't know if anyone saw Albo going up and meeting with, what's his name, Keir Starmer. So that was obviously in unison. So that whole thing is a bit, something's going on there. But yeah, we'll be in the panopticon pretty soon. I think we're already in the panopticon. We're all just looking at each other, and it's really, I can't, this stuff is really dangerous. Really, they're about to take the whole world. This is going to be a digital, online, worldwide prison, and we're all going to be stuck in these fake borders. I mean, Australia, it's not going to be a country soon, it's just going to be an economic zone, right? It almost is just an economic zone. Yeah, it's going to be a kill zone soon. Yeah, so I guess to conclude, I would say there's a lot of issues. We've got to really strategize and devise a way to go forward with this. Right now we've got rallies popping up everywhere and a few things, but it's all sort of happening disconnected from one another, everything across this country. What I'm talking about is our side's failure to really come together with a, let's say, a 1-year plan or a 2-year plan for the next federal that would also encompass the Victorian state. This is what the left have done for 50 years, 40, 30 years, 30 years for the Greens, but the left in general, over 50 years in this country. You know, they've got strategy, they stick to it, they've got bodies on the floor, you know, and they hit you everywhere. They're running rallies, they've got people out in the streets, they're in the schools, you know. Well, it is too. And, you know, they're lucky that we are the Christians and that we reject that. I mean, Christ's death was meant to be the end of mimetic and sacrificial violence, and they are really threatening to actually pull that lid, that Pandora's box, open again. And I mean, yeah, I don't think people realize that what Christ really was, like how much violence is contained in his death, and the situation now. It's not going to be long until the Pandora's box is going to open for sure. I think that's in Revelations. I think that's pretty clear. Is it coming soon? I don't know. Yep. I think we've just all got, you know, there's a lot of fatalism in Christianity, and this is my last thing to say. There's a lot of fatalism, you know, sort of like, well, it's written, so it's going to come, so I'm just going to sit on my seat and watch it burn down. I don't think that's what we're called to do as Christians. I think, yeah, they are for sure. I think as Christians, we're called to actually know that it's coming, and there's nothing you can really do against God's will, but still to fight every fucking day to stop it. That's your responsibility. And then if it comes, so be it. So yeah, God bless you all, and thank you for listening.